Welcome to a special third part of the Garden Report here on CLNS and Celtics blog. This one is brought to you by Blue Apron. Use the code Garden Report to get 3 free meals and free shipping on your first order with Blue Apron. I just got mine, and I cannot wait to make some dinner tomorrow night if I get any sleep. Another guy that does not sleep ever is Sean Highkin here of The Athletic Chicago and host of the Locked On Bulls podcast, and just awesome person that wears glasses in general.
One part of that is debatable. I don't know.
Are you actually the host of the Locked On Bulls podcast?
Well, I am wearing glasses right now. I don't know about it. I mean, my awesomeness is debatable, but, you know.
Okay, well, one thing that wasn't debatable is the fourth quarter, late third, in an entire fourth quarter performance from Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Hoiberg and Lopez and Butler all talked about how they were able to eventually break through because they are persistent and because Jimmy is crafty as hell, and Robin Lopez set some great, maybe moving picks for him.
Well, I mean, I think you have to give a lot of credit to the Celtics defense for what they were able to do to him in the first 2.5 quarters. Basically, you know, they put Marcus Smart on him a lot. They put Jay Crowder on him a lot, and he really wasn't able to do anything. I believe he was, he only had 6 field goal attempts in the first half. He wasn't really doing that much, and the Bulls were somehow winning. But, yeah, later on he started to take over when he needed to. That's just kind of what he's always been able to do when he needs to. That's the only reason, really, the Bulls are in the playoffs at this point.
It definitely appeared to be that way. I don't think Bobby Portis' rebounding is what usually keeps him in there. But I love that Jimmy really relished taking on the Isaiah Thomas assignment at the end of the game. And while Isaiah did have 12 points in the fourth quarter, he had that really crucial block that went off of Isaiah, I believe. I can't remember if that was the one where they reviewed it and overturned it. I think, was that play, or was that the
yeah,
play?
That was that play, because originally they called it Bulls ball, but then they said that Butler hit it out of bounds.
Yeah. So either way, it was an incredible play, and it showed that Butler, does he usually kind of save himself for the fourth quarter? I wouldn't say save himself, but is he kind of like Thomas, where he really just ratchets up to a different level in the fourth quarter, but he can do it on both ends? Well,
he's such a smart player. I think you're going to, you know, there are going to be times when he has a big first half offensively, but then he does, you know, he saves kind of his defensive energy for the second half. So you kind of saw that tonight. Obviously, his offense picked up to another level in the second half. So, yeah, I mean, this is just kind of what we've seen so many times this year from Jimmy in, you know, one of those Cavs games that he took over in, the Lakers game earlier this year where he scored 40. There have just been so many times that he's done that against Brooklyn a few months ago. I mean, this is just what he's capable of, and this is why I think he's the best player in the series.
I would agree. Besides, we agree Paul Zipser is obviously the best. But then Jimmy, and Isaiah's right there. That's true. That big block for Zipsers everywhere. So Bobby Portis, OG Bobby Portis, as I like to call him, he really had a gangsta night. He had
well, his government name is Crazy Eyes.
Of course. I saw a lot of crazy eye emojis coming from Bulls fans tonight. That was pretty great. But would you consider this the best game of his career?
I mean, given the stakes, absolutely. He had, I mean, he's had 20-point games. He only had 19 tonight. So if you're just going off of statistics, then yeah, this wasn't his best game. But, I mean, yeah, he shot 8 of 10 from the field. He had 9 rebounds. The real important thing is, I mean, he's a guy that has, you know, been in and out of the rotation over the course of the season. He did not look like he was afraid to shoot ever. He looked like he was confident taking every shot. He took every shot that he knew he could make. He didn't look like he was forcing anything. And for a young guy who's never played in the playoffs before, that was really crucial to see. And if he can keep that going, I mean, it's going to certainly make up for, they didn't really get anything out of Nico Mirotic tonight.
That was really bad from Nico. Before we even go over to Nico, Hoiberg did say after the game that Bobby was the one young guy on that roster that he had no concerns about having confidence for this one. He even said that he plays a lot of swagger, which makes me think he could be the East Coast Swaggy P, or I guess the Midwest Swaggy P. But Mirotic, who's someone that we thought would be a really big matchup concern for the Celtics because they'd have Amir Johnson out there a lot, he was kind of a non-factor in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, you could always tell. I mean, with the way it always works with Nico is when he doesn't hit his first couple of shots of the night, you know that the confidence isn't going to be there the rest of the night. He needs to see those first couple go down, and when he does that, he might just go on and hit 6 or 7 threes over the course of the night.
We call that Jared Solinger syndrome in Boston.
I mean, sure, yeah, but. But yeah, I mean, he did not give them really anything tonight on either end. He got blown by on the other end by Al Horford, just completely crossed over. It was not a great night for him, but Fred Hoiberg did say that he's going to keep him in the starting lineup and keep Portis coming off the bench, maybe try to get his confidence going a little bit. If they can get anything out of him, then I think they have a much greater chance of making this a series.
All right, well, get ready for Bobby Portis to start game 2 then, based on that answer. I think you asked that question, right, in the presser?
I did.
Yeah. So, good question. Good answer. We'll see if it holds true. We will see you after game 2 for the Celtics on Tuesday night. Sean Highkin, you can find him at Highkin on the Twitter machines. Find him at The Athletic Chicago and host of the Lockdown Bulls. I'm sorry, locked on
Bulls.
Bulls. But it's you lock it down. You lock it down. You guys hold it down.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, generally speaking. So that'll do it for us here on the Garden Report. Don't forget to use the code Garden Report at SeatGeek, as well as the code Garden Report at Blue Apron. You will get lots of goodies in the process, and you'll support the show. Thank you, and we'll see you after Game 2. Stay locked onto this podcast. Wordplay. For more press conferences from inside the locker room and from the podium, you get to hear my sultry voice ask some questions at the podium. This is the Garden Report on CLNS and Celtics Blog.